Twitter slogans have real consequences. They have real life stuff that happens when you put them into practice. Look at defund the police. Now, defund the police became a rallying cry for the far left over the past 6 months. And what we're seeing right now in one major American city is what happens when the far left Twitterati creates a hashtag and idiot leftist leadership in these cities put that hashtag into practice. This is what happened with defund the police. Now listen to this. In Minneapolis, they have seen over 5,000 violent crimes this year, which is more than in the past 5 years. They have seen violent crime go up 50%. They have seen an attrition rate for cops double what it previously used to be. This is because back in June, the city council voted to defund the police to the tune of $14 million. So what does that mean in a city like Minneapolis? It means less cops, it means more violence, it means that the people whose lives that this crap actually affects are worse off. There are people that come to me in my social media that tell me that they've lived in Minneapolis their entire lives and they're afraid to go out after dark. Because this is what happens with the far left. Because you see the Squad and AOC and everybody else that has armed security, that lives in gated communities, that lives on the cloud in the elite world somewhere, they don't have to deal with this stuff. Normal, hardworking American citizens are the ones that have to deal with the fallout of defund the police. And this is what's going on in Minneapolis right now. And what's unfortunate about everything that's going on in Minneapolis, which is, by the way, I went to Minneapolis a couple of months ago. I saw what was happening on the ground after the George Floyd riots. After the riots that burned this city to the ground over George Floyd, who once held a gun to a pregnant woman's stomach. This is who they decided to burn all of Minneapolis down to the ground for. And this is who they decided to defund the police for. And this is why they're having this explosion of violent crime, and they're having this explosion of chaos and unrest in the streets. But let Minneapolis be an example of what happens when you actually do defund the police. What happens when this far left stuff that starts on Twitter makes its way up into the real world. You get less cops. The cops that are there are disrespected. We see all of the videos on social media, and you get more violent crime. And the leftist squad jerks that come up with this stuff do not even backtrack. They do not even say that they were wrong. They just keep on going. Because fundamentally, they know that they're not going to have to deal with the results of this rhetoric. But people in Minneapolis are, people in Detroit are, people in these leftist cities that are falling to this far left rhetoric have to deal with this stuff. So if you want an example of what happens when defund the police becomes reality, look at Minneapolis and make sure that you don't let it happen to your city.